This is the Roger Orozco Show.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. The star, Ashton. Co-star, Chucky, and Devil Dog 2. Oh, do you know who you work for? That's for Mr. Joe Fedor. Okay, guys, so we live, Ashton, in District 3, represented by Joe Fedor for school board, Area 3. I sent Joe Fedor an email. He's done a horrible job. Excuse me. We're going to, at the end of the year, we're going to do a video listing all the stuff that my representative has done as well as others. But before that, we wanted to do a Thanksgiving special on an email I sent to Mr. Fedor. I've been trying to get him to come on to talk about why he's voted in certain ways and to answer basic questions. So I started off really easy, and I gave him some basic questions, and I could not get him to come sit here and answer these questions in front of everybody. You know, that way people could see where he stands, and he didn't want to do it. So why not? That's the question. Does he know who he works for? I mean, these are all basic questions, and he didn't want to come here, sit right here and do it. So I'm going to read the email that I sent Mr. Fedor. And so this is it right here, right, Ash? So almost word for word. I'm going to leave out some of the beginning bullshit. But here it is. I hope all is well. I appreciate timely response. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to want to put your answers out to the public. I believe a public official should be proud, let me move this over here, of what they've done to know everything and where you stand, except for, of course, closed-door issues. With that being said, here are some questions for you to answer. Now, I wanted him to sit here and answer it. I don't have a problem. I could sit here with them. I don't hate the guy. I think he's done a shitty job. I'll tell him to his face. I already have once. And, he didn't want to come. So, whatever. It's very, very weak. So, that being said, here's one of the first questions. First of all, Mr. Fedor, do you know or do you remember who you work for? Now, I'll answer that for him, Ashton. Who does he work for? Works for you? Yep, works for me. Works for all the people. District 3, the whole city. That's who you work for, Mr. Fedor, and you can't even answer that question. So he didn't want to answer that. Here's another one. Is it true that you and 2 other board members were at a function that promoted a candidate over a sitting board member? Well, I heard it was true. I got phone calls. Didn't want to answer that question. That's outrageous too that he would have done that. And I believe, I don't know for a fact, I was told, so I'm pretty sure, I do believe it, that he did do that. 3 members did that to a sitting board member. Totally disgusting. Disgusting with this dude and his actions. Okay, another question that I asked him: with the outrageous amount of money being spent on the adults, why am me, being asked to save the district money with the Public Records Act? Basically asking for me to do it less. So why, Mr. Fedor? Why would I be asked? You sat there. Why are they wanting me not to ask? But that's going to relate to the next question. The next question is, do you know who the watchdogs of our public officials are? So Mr. Fedor knows this. Everybody should know this. Us, the people, are the watchdogs of our public officials. So that being said, why would I be asked not to limit myself or, with the Public Records Act? That's how we hold these guys accountable. Why would they not want me to see the Public Records Act or not to use it so much? Do you ask the unions that? if they ask for Public Records Act, are you asking them? So the people are the watchdogs. Mr. Fedor, can you answer that? Do you know that? Let's see, what's the next question I asked him, Ashton? Ashton, this is what else I asked. Do you, as my district official, have any issues with me asking for the public records, using Public Records Act, or the amount of records I would like to inspect? How come you didn't want to answer that? How come? Are you guys, I'm sure they bring it up to you guys that I asked for the Public Records Act. what's wrong with that? If you're on the up and up, you guys don't have any problems. You shouldn't have any problems with that. But yet, another question he did not want to answer. Do you support all parents having the right to put an item on the agenda? And that's a big one, because they will always try not to let the parents do this, but the parents have a right to do that. So the question would be, does he support it? Now, he doesn't want to answer that because it puts him in a bind. But if it was me, hell yeah, I support it. Any parent wants to put anything on there, they have the right to do that. And he should be supporting that. He didn't want to answer that question either. Do you know they actually have the right to the items? Yes, of course they do. He didn't answer, but that's what I would say. Can you please explain to me, and I will relay it to others, why you would support money from Measure L? That's the property tax. Measure L for the schools. Measure L going to a salary when you knew there was a promise to the people made not to do that. Why did you vote for that? Why did you support it when you knew there was a promise made to the people? Ashton, oh, you tired, babe? We're almost done. So why would Mr. Fedor do that? He's not going to want to answer that because he looks stupid, but he did it. Let me see. Now, what's the next one, Boo? Oh, you also knew your constituents did not want you to sign the teachers' union contract last year until you guys went to fact-finding. Why did you not listen to your constituents that put you in office? Mr. Fedor, why did you not listen to the constituents? You were going to sign it anyway. Why didn't you listen to us? Why didn't you listen to you, Boo? You walked the streets for that sucker. I did. He didn't listen to anybody. He's listening to management, not the people that actually put him in there. So I'm just trying to prove a point that he's done a bad job and he's not working for the people. He's not working for our kids, no matter what he says. Okay, now, here's another question I asked. Do you actually think when people know all the money that was given out in these last two contracts with the teachers union, after salary schedule increases, bonuses, and now a 3-year deal after fighting over 1% in May, and the Me Too by admin, after the people were asked to tax themselves with Measure L, do you think they would actually approve of what you've done? And the answer, I'll tell you, Mr. Fedor, hell no, the majority would not approve. Hell no. None of my neighbors would approve. Nobody I've talked to. Everybody thinks you guys are full of shit. No one really knows about it. Yet. Last question for now. After signing a 3-year teachers union contract and others, can you please tell me where exactly that money is coming from? Where it was found to make it happen? Well, where'd that money come from? We had Mrs. Alanis on the show, and Mrs. Alanis said that they didn't tell them where that money came from. So they signed a 3-year deal not knowing the future of that money. It's very irresponsible, Mr. Fedor. No wonder why you didn't want to answer that question. And that's another thing. Mrs. Alanis sat here, answered every question, and Mr. Fedor does not want to sit here. I know I've already talked about that, but she sat here and he didn't. A lot of other people have come in, done the show, and very honest people with integrity. Mr. Fedor has not wanted to come on to answer these questions. And I know it's going to be hard, but you wanted to be a public official, man. So this is the way I ended this email. I said, I told you in the past that I would hold you accountable if you did not put our kids first. So this is what this is all about. With money and everything else. If you are on the up and up, you will have no problem answering these questions and be proud of it. Remember, he should be proud of what he's done. He should be able to sit here and be excited about what he's done. I would love for someone to invite me on a podcast or to talk, and I'll tell you everything I've done and what I wanted to do. For some reason, he doesn't want to talk about his. I wonder why. Then I ended it with, I would even extend an offer for you to come over and answer these questions on the podcast with the man who walked the streets for you. So, that's the email to Mr. Fedor. Those were the questions I asked him, and how I would answer him. But Mr. Fedor did not want to answer these questions. It goes back to who do you work for, parents' rights, putting stuff on the agenda, Public Records Act. He did not want to answer basic, fundamental questions for the rights of these parents, for us, for our kids. We are the watchdogs. Mr. Fedor has done a really bad job. And then I actually contacted him also over an email of, was it the LCFF funding formula? There was an email that went out, someone sent me, and it looks like there was some kind of wrong formula done, and it shows the districts in a pretty bad spot with money. I don't know exactly what's going to happen with that yet, but I did see the email. I do have the email. I'll do a special on that. But I called and asked Mr. Fedor about that, and or I actually texted him about it, emailed him, and he said he was looking into it. But once again, no response. And that's his MO. Everybody I've talked to, one of the words that's used is that he makes excuses. That he didn't get information or the right information. A lot of people call him a ghost. But I haven't heard anybody outside this district, anybody that said anything good about what he's done on this board, what he's done for our children or for us. I think it's time for him to start answering questions. I think we're going to have to start asking him at least once a month. We need to start asking him and just keep putting the pressure on him. That's how we create change and hold these guys accountable. Is if you voted a certain way, you voted for certain things, you should be proud of it. You can't be a public official in private. I think that's what he's trying to do. So now we're going to be calling him out. And we got to do flyers. We got to walk the streets, and we got to let people know in District 3, as well as everywhere else, that what Mr. Fedor has done, it's been horrific for our kids. And I don't have a problem sitting right next to him, right here. But I want people to know. I already know why he probably did most of it, and but I want the people to know, because people ran his campaign on what he said. And we got a lot of videos, and people that have seen these videos for a long time know what he said. So he looks pretty... let's just say he looks pretty bad, and I'm sure he knows that. And probably one reason why he doesn't want to sit right here. You can sit right here with where Ash is, right, Ash? We put you in the middle, and he could answer questions. So anyway, guys, Thanksgiving special, we're gonna call it. That way, hopefully this video will circulate, and people could understand Mr. Fedor is doing a horrible job. Doesn't want to come and answer basic questions from an active father. Now, I'm pretty active. I don't think there's anybody else that's been more active and engaged and actually knows how a lot of this stuff works and what could be done. That's why I get pissed off when I see our kids and our parents and the taxpayers being taken advantage of, and that's the way I would call it, in my opinion, being taken advantage of because they're not paying attention. So anyway, Mr. Fedor, shame on you, and you should step down. Yeah, I think you should. Anyway, Ash, thanks for watching the show. Hey, please like, subscribe, share it. We got to get people to know. If we're going to hold our public officials accountable, we need to get the word out. So please, guys, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.